Hey everybody, this is Mark Dice Monkey, and today we're going to be talking about making role-playing games more accessible. Now, players with disabilities face significant challenges in RPG participation, so today we're going to be focusing on enhancing accessibility for visual, auditory, and mobility challenges. So to define accessibility in RPGs, we are talking about making games more playable and enjoyable for everyone at your table. This involves adapting game materials, communication methods, and gameplay mechanics. For example, using visual aids or text-based communication for auditory processing disorders. I myself have this issue. If a location has too many noises going on at the same time, I have a hard time separating those noises, and so there's been a few times where I've gone to play a role-playing game in a public setting like at a game store, and I can't actually hear what the game master is saying. I have to really focus on their mouth and basically lip sync. I can kind of hear, but all audio levels are kind of all at the exact same level. I can't filter them out. So we're going to be talking about ways to fix that. So let's start with visual accessibility. Some of the challenges are small text and rulebooks. Rulebooks have a lot of words, and a lot of them are very small, particularly when you're talking about physical books. They also have a lot of detailed visuals on character sheets and maps. So we've got a few different solutions for this. Using high contrast materials like large print and high contrast design, I particularly like the Star Wars Adventures role-playing game, at least the first edition. The books were actually black paper with white text, which made it stand out a lot. I actually found them a lot easier to read than a lot of other books with white paper and black text. Also, tactile elements like braille description or raised texture on dice and cards. I've seen actually a lot of dice out there that are braille dice that actually work really well for those who are visually impaired. And then leveraging technology, using digital tools to adjust colors, zoom text, and read aloud. Also, I'm looking at Edge Studios, who makes the current Star Wars role-playing game. None of those books are available officially in PDF form, and so for those who need to use readers, it's much harder to do if you don't have a digital reader that can read out things to you if you don't have it in digital form. So those are just a few solutions. Then we've got auditory accessibility, one near and dear to my heart. So some of the challenges are processing spoken language and sound cues. So we've got a few different solutions. Having written out summaries, written recaps of game events and dialogue can help a lot. Having visual cues, like visual signals for turn changes and important information. You can actually, using things like using clips on your game master screen to indicate whose turn is next allows somebody who can't necessarily hear so well to be able to look up and see that their turn is coming up. And then quiet play areas. Designating quieter spaces to reduce background noise is super important. I was just at the game store yesterday playing a war game, so against one opponent, and as the room got more and more full of more and more people, I had a harder and harder time hearing what was going on. And it actually made me go out and start looking at getting some game mats to play at home so that I don't have to deal with that anymore, or looking for game stores that are kind of dead game stores so that I can start playing in much quieter spaces, because my brain can't handle it. So then we've got mobility accessibility. This is also a really big thing for me because I've got somebody in the household who has mobility issues, particularly either sitting or standing for an extended period of time. So some of the challenges are physical presence, manual dexterity, and sitting for extended periods. So some solutions are flexible gaming setups. Having adjustable tables and comfortable seating is super important. We've steadily shifted over to playing from the couch instead of playing at the table, and using the large coffee table we've got in the living room as my table instead of using our dining room table. And then visual participation options. Or virtual participation options, using online platforms for remote play. Then people can play from anywhere. People can play from their own beds if they need to. Playing, from the couch, whereas other people might be interested in playing at a table in like a specific space. Allowing people to join remotely can be super helpful. And then modifying the game mechanics for people who have a hard time with their hands. Being able to minimize frequent dice rolls and card handling can be really, really helpful. There's a lot of great online, like phone apps you can get for rolling dice as well if somebody's having trouble with that aspect. For community and GM involvement, it's really important to have proactive and responsible community leaders and GMs. By having open communication, allowing players to share their needs and preferences, super, super important. Educating about different disabilities and accessibility tools that are out there, and then using adaptive gameplay to modify game rules and storytelling to suit players' needs are all really, really important things. So in conclusion, making RPGs accessible involves thoughtful consideration and intentional design. Implementing adaptive technologies and modifying play environments enhances inclusivity, and it ensures RPGs remain a source of adventure for everyone, regardless of their abilities. I hope all this has been helpful. If you've got any comments that you want to leave, any different adaptive solutions you've got, any products you want to shill, leave those in the comment. Be sure to like and subscribe. And thank you everybody for joining me, and I will see you next time.